I got a question for the chat, and let's have a conversation. So the Detroit Lions, and I think we did a video a couple days ago. We've been talking about this, about who won the trade and between Stafford and Detroit. And right now, you guys know how I feel. I think the Rams won the trade simply because you play to win the game and you win games to win Super Bowls. Like, that's the whole point. Matthew Stafford was the Rams' missing piece. Now, it did help us build our team, but at the same time, I'm starting to get a little nervous. I'm starting to get a little nervous, man. I'm not going to lie. Stafford is playing lights out. He's playing lights out, and they're talking about MVP like conversation. We've heard this before. We've Megatron never won it. They talked about Stafford in 2016 until he hurt his hand. He hurt his finger, and they were like, oh, Stafford MVP. Well, I'm hearing a lot of those. It reminds me, this year for the Rams, it reminds me of 2021 when they went on their Super Bowl run. They made the trade their one bad year after the trade. And I don't know about y'all, man, but it seems like the Rams are making some noise, like legit noise. Now, they got to go through the Seahawks. As a matter of fact, I think they play the Seahawks this coming week, and that's going to be a big deal. But I'm starting to feel like the Rams could be at it again. And we play them this year in LA. Jared Goff, since the trade, is 2-1. He is 1-0 versus Stafford in the playoffs. His 2 wins have come at Ford Field. His 1 loss have come at LA. And I'm like, yo, does that mean that he's going to lose this time too? I am seeing like a matchup where the Rams are like, they're legit contention to win this thing again. Devontae Adams, everybody that was talking about how washed he is, which is why I cannot stand the word wash if they don't play for your team. Devontae Adams is far from washed. You put Stafford and Adams together, you have a problem. You have Puka Nacua. There was talk that they could have traded for TJ Hockenson at the trade deadline. They didn't do it. Their pass rush is fantastic. They now are ahead of us in sacks heading into week 11. The Rams, I'm feeling like we could see it all over again. That's just my opinion. And at that point, and the purpose of this segment is I want to ask you, we've been talking about the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl for a long time. What if the Rams win the Super Bowl again? Now, it took everything for the Rams to win it back in 2021. It took dropped interceptions by San Francisco 49ers. It took blown assignments by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cooper Kupp he won Triple Crown that year. Took a lot to go right. And in the Super Bowl, it took Aaron Donald sacking Joe Burrow to leave Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase was wide open. Burnt the mess out of Jalen Ramsey. He was open, would have been probably the go-ahead touchdown. How would you feel if the Rams win the Super Bowl again? How would you feel? Let me see. Rams won the trade so far because it equaled a ring. Once we get one, we'll have one because our talent will outlast Stafford. I could not have put that any better. That's exactly how I feel, 100%. The ultimate goal is the hardware. So we can say whatever. We can glaze it as much as we want to. Rams had a goal. They made a trade happen. They got what they wanted. Right? We're still searching for our first appearance. So you can't say that it's a tie or it was a win for both teams. It was a win for the Rams right now. But I agree 100% with that statement. I saw a clip of Adams trying to juke, but stopped and grabbed his back. He definitely not washed. He just need a good QB to throw him the ball. Well, I mean, he not a spring chicken anymore, but he can still make some grabs. He can still get them 50-50 balls as well. Rams are balling out, gaining big yards. Defense is stopping everyone. Braylon says, I will be upset. Rams seem to be blowing through the league a lot easier this season. Yes, they do. I have a feeling they're going to beat the Seahawks bad. Lions don't have a darn good defense like the Eagles, Packers, or Rams. I think it would instantly add more pressure to Brad. That is a great conversation point, and that's what I wanted to go into as well. Could you imagine if 2021 was a rough year. It was a rough year, man. It was so bad. Like, I used to make fun of Stafford whenever he lost, whenever he got sacked. Like, it was a tough year, man, to watch him on every magazine, to watch him on every talk show. But if he did it again in the same amount of time that Brad and Dan have been in charge of the Lions, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. And just like you said in the comment section, the amount of pressure at that point that will be on Brad Holmes, to me, is unparalleled. I think that's when if the fan base was not talking now, look, even if Stafford makes the Super Bowl, and think about this too. When it comes to Matthew Stafford, if you look back at last year, let's look at what they've done since Stafford, right? So they win the Super Bowl. When they trade for Stafford, they have a bad year. Stafford got hurt. They come out. They're in contention. We beat them in the playoffs. They're in contention. Last year, they made it to a Jalen Carter sack. Like, if everybody was sitting watching that game in the snow, and they're like, Stafford's about to win this game. You said it. I said it. You're like, yo, Stafford's going to win this game. He goes down the field, boom, 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 things that we've seen over and over and over. And who stopped it? Jalen Carter. The pass rush stopped it from happening, right? I'm like, yo, he's about to win this game. They're about to win this game. And if they would have played, who would they have played next? It was the Eagles, and then the Eagles played the Commanders. So would the Rams have played the Commanders? The schedule is much easier. Look it up. We better reach the Super Bowl before we have to re-sign Gibbs, Laporta, and Campbell. Okay, Michael, so you're saying that we have to reach the Super Bowl either this year or next year, because next year will be year number 4 for Gibbs, right? And then Laporta is on the last year of his deal. Maybe Stafford getting a second ring will put pressure on Brad to make a move. And if they would have played Washington, they would have beat them. I don't see the Rams beating the Seahawks and Philly, maybe one, but not both. I don't know, bro. I don't know. They have not played the Seahawks yet, so we'll see. We'll get our first taste of that this week. But then, they almost beat Philly last week. Look, as much as it pains me to say, Stafford is balling right now. When I was watching him, I was like, we might have to have the Hall of Fame conversation. Like, you've been playing for what? Stafford is in year, 16, whatever he's in, still slinging that thing. I might, we might have to talk about Hall of Fame, which it pains me to say. Rams are pretenders, in my opinion, says Will. Really? I don't see the Rams. You know what, man? I don't know. But I think that Stafford getting to the Super Bowl would be enough. But if he wins it, it's a wrap. Like, the pressure that would come on Brad Holmes, that's all the talk would be. I think it might even be worse than Stafford winning the first one. If the Rams won a second Super Bowl at any time point under Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions don't, it might be worse than winning that first one. Because the first one was like, the Lions held him down. Look what happened when he plays for a good team, blah, blah, blah. But if he was to win 2 and before the Lions win 1, that would be something. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that Stafford could be on his way to a second Super Bowl? I hate to say it, but the way that they're playing, the receivers that they have, the way that their defense is playing, they really could be. But we play them in about a month, and we'll see what we got ready for them. Jared Goff, again, is 2-1 against Matthew Stafford since the trade.